Coasters, haunts, dark rides. I love amusement parks. I love everything about amusement parks. I love going, I love riding, I love the atmosphere, and I love coming home with stuff from parks. As my wife would say, I have way too much crap from amusement parks. One of my favorite things ever to collect in an amusement park was park maps. For years and years and years, every time I went to a park, I came home with a park map. Of course, today there isn't many park maps given out anymore. It's all digital and in the app, but I still have years and years of park maps, and I love looking back at them and going through and reminiscing on the old parks. I wanted to share the oldest Carowinds park map that I have with you. I have a 1994 Carowinds Paramount Carowinds park map. Let's take a look at what attractions were there in 1994. So back in 1994, the park was way before Cedar Fair, was owned by the Paramount Group, and we can see some of the movie references right on the front part of the guide. So opening the park map, first thing that we see is Yogi Bear from Hanna-Barbera, so we're not Peanuts at this point. It's all Hanna-Barbera themed in the kids area. And then the classic Thunder Road. All right. Very interesting as you look at the calendar. Initially, same start date in the middle of March. We go through weekends until the summer, but here at the end is where it's really different than it is today. No Scarowinds, no Winterfest. Park is open weekends until early mid October, but there's no Halloween event whatsoever, and the park is not open at all for Christmas. All right, and here is a look at the map. Very different than we have today. Keep in mind, this was 31 years ago. A lot has changed since then. Taking a look at the attractions, first one on the list, Powder Keg Flume, classic log flume ride that is where Thunder Striker sits today. Carolina Sternwheeler. This was a paddle wheel boat ride that took place in the lake where Borg was then put in, and then eventually Nighthawk, which they're working on right now removing. Rip Roaring Rapids was the ride, of course, that they're removing for the 2026 attraction that's coming in, but that ride has been closed for a number of years as well. We do see a ride still here, the Sky Tower. Moving down the list, number six, a name that you may not recognize, but a ride you probably do. Kaleidoscope is the scrambler, but Kaleidoscope was the name when it was originally put into the park back when the park opened 50 years ago. Monorail, we Carowinds had a 2 mile monorail ride at the front of the park that took you out past the parking lot. Vortex, stand up coaster, still there today. Hurler, still there today. Screamweaver, just removed this past fall, announced in December that it was removing. Carolina Cyclone and Carolina Gold Rusher, both still there today. So we move down the list. We see the Dodgems, which was the bumper cars, which we still have, but in a little different format than it was back in the day. Friendzoid was the pirate ship that was removed about 4 or 5 years ago. Thunder Road, classic wooden coaster, dual racing, was a very popular ride and was removed over a decade ago for an enhancement in the water park area. Days of Thunder was the motion ride that sits in the theater that we also use them for SpongeBob and used for Plants vs. Zombies, and now is just used for storage back there in Aeronautica Landing. Whitewater Falls was a large shoot the chutes water flume ride. It sat back there where Copperhead Strike is today. Basically, up a hill, down a hill, big splash, got wet. You can see on here Scooby Doo roller coaster, still there today, but today it's Woodstock Express. And as we go down Carousel, that used to sit in the area that is now Camp Snoopy, but of course they moved it across the park to where it is now in front of Vortex. And then the balloon race, which is still there today as well. Here's a great aerial view of what the park looked like back then. You can see the entrance was completely different, no ride out front, Plantation entrance was the old entrance for many, many years. The Palladium, which of course is still there, which they used last year, but not this year. So we move around the park. You can see Wayne's World, which it was owned by Paramount, so they actually had movie references and movie theming in the park. So the Hurler was originally created as a ride to the movie Wayne's World. So we move around, you can see the water park in the back of the park, very small compared to what it is today. And as we continue, there's something that might stick out to you. Harmony Hall, that is a building that was used for a restaurant and then for a show back what is now Boo Blasters. Of course, the Harmony Hall building was not there 31 years ago that we know it as today. And there you can see the carousel back in the kiddie area in a different part of the park where it's now over here. It used to be on this side of the park. Food and drink options were almost completely different. Look at this sub shop, bakery, cotton candy, Midway Plaza. You're not going to see really anything on here that exists today. Casey's Grill. As we move over here, Wendy's Frosty Hut, um, Sunday Isle, uh, Blackgate. Well, Backgate Funnel Cakes is pretty much the same as it was back then. And then Country Kitchen, which we have a variation at Blue Ridge today, but a lot of different options for food and drink back in the park 31 years ago. And that's about it. That's our 1994 Carowinds Park map. It just gives us an idea of all the change that could really happen in 31 years. The park looks completely different, and it's nice to look back and see what we used to have and also see what we can accomplish and where the park may go in the future. Thanks for joining. I hope you all have a great night.